Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Talk in BizTech. I'm your host, Saqif, and today we are going to look at the personal development for entrepreneurs. Before we dive into that, I just want to request all of you to make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I want to thank the digital marketing startup, All Innovative Solution, for making this happen. I also want to thank the technological company in Silicon Valley called Revelio. Revelio provides media and software solutions to the entrepreneurs, and also their Revelio is selling their membership. So if you want to purchase them, the link is down in the description box. So back to the topic. Personal development is the ongoing act of assessing your life goals and values um, in order to build your skills. Entrepreneurs need personal development to better themselves. They also need personal development to contribute to satisfaction, success, and maturity. Um, Personal development also includes self care practices, stress reduction, and mindset training. See, in businesses, entrepreneurs have to make the right decisions, and that that decision comes from the positive mindset itself. So, my guest for today is Zoie Flesher, who is a wellness expert and an entrepreneur. She has her own business called Zoie Wellness, which revolves around the personal development. And so let me just go ahead and bring her on Talking BizTech. Zoe, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, yeah, thank you for having me on.
You're very welcome. And Zoe, so before we dive into the personal development and looking at the business, I just want to get to know you a little better. Tell me, can you tell me about yourself and your educational background?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I've been an entrepreneur for, gosh, 15, 16 years, and
Wow.
yeah, yeah, it's been a long time. I don't remember what it's like to actually have a boss. So it's been a while, but so my education, I studied extensively under a man named Dr. John Connolly, who's the founder of rapid resolution therapy.
Wow.
And so I'm certified in that as well as I'm also a hypnotherapist. Now, rapid resolution therapy, it's actually a trauma based therapy that is, it looks at both the subconscious and conscious part of the mind. So, which is really significant in anything that has to do with personal development, healing, bettering ourselves, and having a deeper understanding of who we are. Um, Having that understanding of both conscious and subconscious is really important.
Sorry, Zoe, just your screen just got frozen. Can you repeat?
Oh, just repeat the question.
No,
Yeah,
just the last part. Sorry.
yeah. So,
Um, I apologize. No, it's just your screen got frozen. So if you can tell me the just the last sentence you were saying.
just that when it comes to self care, personal development,
Mhm.
healing in general, having knowledge of both the conscious and the subconscious is so important. It leads to a deeper understanding of self.
Yes, yes, it does.
Mhm.
It does
Yeah,
lead to deeper understanding. I agree
yeah.
with you. And Zoe, how did you get into the path of entrepreneurship?
Actually, getting into the path of entrepreneurship, it's it's basically it's in my blood. Like both of my parents, they've always been entrepreneurs.
Wow.
So it just felt something. It was very natural to me
Mhm.
to go down this route. it's kind of good because I was instilled with that blueprint from when I was small. Like I don't ever remember my parents coming home and complaining about their job or their boss. So it's and yeah, I mean to this day, neither of them have. I don't remember them ever having an employer. So besides themselves, of course. But so yeah, and it just something that felt natural and felt just it makes sense. You know, I mean, it's the out of the freedoms we have as entrepreneurs and being able to structure our day, our time, even if that's a long day, at least if
Yeah.
it's for yourself, then you know it
Yes.
feels better. Yeah.
Oh wow. And so you said your parents were entrepreneurs. Is that correct? And yeah, may I know what was their like what entrepreneurship that they were like? What type of entrepreneurs they were?
Oh, hospitality industry, as well as real estate, so commercial real estate. Yeah, so that was their background.
Wow, wow, yes. Like even though in this pandemic, like people are struggling, but some businesses are benefiting in this pandemic, and I would say real estate industry is one, and then the home and renovation, which is another one. And uh, Zoe, just want to know what self-care practices would you recommend to the entrepreneurs in their daily life? Like, um, what would be the best way to practice the self-care? Um,
Well, I mean, there's a multitude of things that we can do,
yeah,
but I know a lot of entrepreneurs are very big on a morning routine, which is
yes,
it's great to have a morning routine whether that involves. I mean, I think that definitely should involve exercise. I know a lot of people meditate, they'll write in gratitude journals, that kind of thing. Um, and I think those are all very important things. What can be problematic is how sustainable is that for everybody? I mean, if an entrepreneur has small children and they're up early and they may not always have the time to do these things.
yes,
So I could emphasize anything for self care. I would actually place a really good bedtime routine above a morning routine any day, just because a lot of people don't realize this, but as adults, we we need 8 hours of sleep, and um, you know, a lot of people think like I used to actually think that too. Like if we have 6 hours, we're okay, right? It's not. When we're not getting sufficient sleep, we are about 40% less productive in our day. We're less
I
effective.
agree.
We don't think strategically or as clear headed as we could. So I would say implementing a really strong bedtime routine is important. And there's some ways we can do this. Of course, I'm sure you're shutting down screen time at least an hour prior, yeah, even 2 hours if you can. Dimming the lights in the house is good. Having a nice cool house. So even lowering the temperature. And what's really effective is actually increasing your body temperature by, let's say, having a bath, but keeping the house cool. So there's a bunch of different things we can do. As well as when I'm working with clients, I give them a bunch of self care practices that they can implement in their day. And they're really, really quick little techniques. So you can shift your mind frame to a good. Um, Now, these don't take very long. A lot of them can take 1 to 2 minutes. It's something. So when I'm working with a client, I will give them different exercises and different things that they can do to just implement in their day in case they have a setback and they need to get back into business or they're something troublesome happens, right? These
Yeah,
things happen, right? So It's
Right.
being able to regulate those things quickly and doing that with techniques that don't take a lot of time, I think is important as well.
That is correct. And I believe that, I strongly believe that taking care of yourself is the cornerstone of success. And like you said, sleep is very important.
Yeah,
I think it's very precious and very, according to me, I like minimum of 8 hours of sleep entrepreneurs need. And also, do you also agree that like entrepreneurs should take breaks often, short breaks, and then and do you also think that napping is also another way uh, for entrepreneurs to boost their energy?
actually, napping is excellent. It is. It's funny. They did this study with. There were some musicians, and they were trying to learn a piece of music, and they were having a hard time getting it. And they found that when they were able to take a nap, it actually, and just even a quick, like 20-minute nap, when they woke up and tried the piece again, it was easier. It came easier because that is one thing with sleep too. It kind of, it almost fills in the gaps of what we're missing, right? So if you think of a sentence, it fills in those extra words when we can get a little dose of sleep. So I think, if someone can implement a powerful and effective nap, where they're not sleeping too long, I mean, you won't be sleeping for 2 hours or anything, but
Yeah.
yeah, it can really increase productivity and effectiveness in your workday.
Yes. If they're energetic, then yes, this can contribute really well to the productivity, and I do agree with you. Zoe, what is your inspiration? Like you have your own business called Zoie Wellness, and matter of fact, I created a banner. I just want to show all my viewers and also. So Zoe Wellness, and tell me something. What is the inspiration behind the creation of Zoe Wellness?
Oh, well, I would say the inspiration would be to provide my clients with not just healing, because I do believe it's a better approach to actually be dealing with some of the things that happened before you were an entrepreneur, because that's going to leak over into your habits and into how effective you can be on a day-to-day basis. But the inspiration I would say is prior to Zoe Wellness, I had another business, and it was a company I built from the ground up, and it over the years I built it into a multi-location business that was doing well over seven figures a year. Now I was burnt out. I was completely burnt out and miserable. Like, I mean, I enjoyed what I did,
Yeah.
but it was really difficult. It took a toll on me, and I didn't know how to get ahead of that. Like, I didn't
Mhm.
know. Sometimes there were days or weeks or months, years that were so busy that I couldn't get ahead of that stress. I couldn't get ahead of just feeling good, right? Feeling like I've got everything under control or that I'm on top of everything. And even throughout the years, I'm
Mhm.
sure there were decisions I made in my business that weren't great, right? Just
Yes.
because um, I wasn't effectively taking care of myself. I was working way too much. So that's the inspiration is to help entrepreneurs and any individual really that wants to improve any area of their life, being able to do that in not only in a effective way, but more in a real tangible way that they can feel a difference. That's my big thing.
Wow. Wow. That's yeah. That is very inspiring. And Zoe, what services do you provide? Um, um, in your wellness business?
So I provide quite a few different services and areas. So if somebody, let's say, wanted to work again on the business side, like the entrepreneurship side
Yeah.
of, if they're looking for self confidence or self esteem, motivation, clarity, thinking more strategically so they can make better decisions, I do that. I also do healing. So if someone has struggled with, and that's where RRT comes into play with any type of traumatic experiences, um, anxiety, depression, just grief. Grief is a big one.
Yeah.
Not feeling good enough, all of that.
Hmm.
I also help in relationships. So I can, let's say somebody had gotten out of something, or
Yeah.
they were feeling, like they went through an infidelity. They went
Yeah.
through, um, a divorce, anything like that. So relationships, life, business, um, even body. Um, I recently did a session for a client of mine that was struggling with emotional eating because they were eating too much during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I, in all facets of someone's life, there is a service I can provide that would help.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It is one of the is eating, like you said, eating, the clients were eating like too much during the pandemic. Is it because of stress? Is that correct?
Yeah, stress and comfort. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah. So, and I mean, there's things we can do around that, right? And
Oh, yeah.
so, yeah, it's really multifaceted, um, you know, and my approach is tailored to the individual. So I don't think that like, let's say for an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
they may think that they need more confidence, right? A lot of times we're just like,
Yes,
oh, if I could just
I
be
agree.
confident, then I could do this, right? Sometimes
Right.
it's not about confidence. Sometimes it could be that they aren't trusting their decision making because they just had a bad spell. Maybe their last quarter didn't yield what they had hoped. Or it could be about resiliency, right?
Mhm.
I mean,
Yes.
we experience so many ups and downs as entrepreneurs. It's not easy to keep going, especially when you're in a downturn or things are not going well, right? So it might not even be a confidence thing. It could just be a resilience thing that we need to strengthen for them to make it through that phase of that time. So yeah, it's a very tailored approach depending on what my individual client needs.
That is true. I do agree with you. And Zoe, have you started in-person appointments, or is it just like how, or are you using a video conferencing tool like
So
Zoom?
I do mostly through Zoom and video conferencing, and they're all one-to-one sessions. So it's an individual facilitation.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Individual. Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. That's the benefit of this the video conferencing tool like Zoom, and I'm glad that it's helping you in your business, and it's not affecting you at all. And also, what channel are you using to promote Zoe Wellness?
Oh, right now I'm using Facebook
Facebook.
and Instagram.
Uh,
So yeah, those are the two channels I'm using right now. I probably should expand that a little bit, but yeah,
yeah.
those are the two I like and I'm comfortable with. So yeah, and a lot of and of course referrals, which is always great, right? And any type of word
Yes.
of mouth really is the most effective way, I think.
Yes, I agree with you. Referral program is really it's benefiting a lot of businesses. Zoe, tell me about your mindset coaching session. How are they structured?
Okay, the developmental mindset coaching. So
Yes, the development
with that
mindset.
section, yeah, how I structured that, that is actually, it's a really interesting session, but that is a session where I will dive deep into educating a client on
Hmm.
what their conscious and their subconscious is doing. And I find when people have an understanding of that, it is so beneficial because you can recognize, you can acknowledge, okay, I'm feeling like this. Well, this is what my subconscious is doing right now, and this is what my conscious is doing right now. And by being able to recognize that,
Yes.
and then also regulate it, which is important, but it just brings a deeper understanding of why we experience things the way that we do. Now, both facets of mind, the conscious and the subconscious, they see the world completely differently. And when we as an individual have an understanding of what that is and why we're experiencing these things and what both parts of our mind are doing, it's so much easier to get yourself back into a great place because you're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I know what this is, and now I need to do this, this, and this. So yeah, that's what the developmental mindset coaching is.
Wow, wow, that is very interesting. And like in like countries, the only country that I hear that's or reopening the economy is United States of America because I think majority of their population is fully vaccinated. Our country will reopen soon, but some countries are still affected because of the pandemic itself. Um, so I just want to know, like you did deal with a lot of people who was affected from um, from the pandemic. So what is
Yeah.
the common problem that they were facing?
Well, I mean, so initially when the
Yes,
pandemic happened,
yes,
there was so to I guess I'll start with this. I mean, of course, because of the fear that a lot of people were experiencing and uncertainty, right? And our brains don't do
yes,
well with uncertainty.
yeah,
So that was creating a lot of fear within us, which also affects, of course, our body because the system is over there. But initially, what was happening is you see that more as a reaction, right? So
yes,
people are sanitizing everything. They're cleaning their house like crazy. They're stocking up on toilet paper. They're, I mean, not even logical things, right? Because
yeah,
when we're in
yeah.
fear, blood flow
Buying
decreases to
toilet
the front.
papers.
Yeah, that, and that's not even
Yeah,
logical. But what ends up happening when we're in fear? Well, one of the things that happens in the body is that blood flow decreases to the frontal cortex of our brain, which is the area responsible for logical thought. So yeah, people were doing things that were nonsensical, right?
yes, yes.
Now, and that's all out of a reaction. But what has happened through the course of time, because this has
Mhm.
been over a year and a half, a lot of people experience almost overactivation of the nervous system. Um, and it's because it's like little micro doses of stress, right? Like
Yes,
we adjusted to the initial shock of it, but we've all been getting little micro doses of stress like, the entire time. Now, what the body can end up doing is it will start storing our energy.
mhm,
So it will store it and hold on to it. It won't release it to us. And the reason it's doing that is because it's trying to save that energy in case we need it for an emergency. So what that has ended up doing is making a lot of people feel exhausted. They're burnt out, they're not sleeping well, they're not thinking clearly, they're just generally exhausted because their body is just holding on to this energy like a backup reserve and it's not
yes,
releasing it to them. So
I
I have
agree.
helped a lot of people with dealing with not just the emotional and the emotional components, but also the physical components and um, better ways to regulate that so you can start feeling good again.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And how are your stress reduction and then self-care practice sessions structured? Like how do you measure the progress of your clients?
So usually I'll recommend to clients to do 5 to 6 sessions typically. Um, just because the first 2 or 3 sessions I want to focus on more of a healing aspect and getting to things again that things that might have happened in the past. Um, it's almost unbecoming things because we have a lot of faulty perceptions about ourselves. So it's tearing down those faulty perceptions, and then the next 2 or 3 sessions, it's building up, right? Then it's building those attributes and those things that we want to see in ourselves. But
Yes.
so I usually recommend 5 to 6 sessions. But in a self care and stress reduction session, I use all kinds of techniques from visualization to breath work. I'll usually do a really nice healing wellness hypnotherapy for them at the end, and then teaching them some techniques for them to then carry on from that session and regulate. But many of my clients, many of my clients will feel even quite a big improvement even after their first session. But I like to say 5 or 6, and but it's up to the client. I mean, they can start or stop whenever they want. And I even have clients where they'll do a bunch in the initial, and then they'll see me once a month just to keep themselves in a good place.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, makes sense. And also, Zoe, can I use your actually before before I talk about your website, let me I just want to know how what's the process of scheduling an appointment with you? Is it just through your website?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got acuity scheduling on there. So somebody can just go right on my website and book an appointment. They can also they can contact me through my Facebook page, it's Zoie Wellness, or even personally, I've had people contact me, Zoie Flesher, and as well as Instagram, they can message me and I can book them in. So, but yeah, on my website, there is an acuity scheduler there, so they
Yeah.
can just book there. I also take Stripe, so I can do appointments for anybody in like Canada, the US, the UK, Australia, New Zealand.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome that you're going global. So that's great.
yeah.
You can actually you honestly you can actually help other countries. Like you can help people from other countries. Like I'm from like I was born in Bangladesh, and
Oh,
uh,
okay.
it's a densely populated country, and the vaccines are not there yet. Like the number of people living there is like 160 million, and only
Oh, wow.
500,000 people are vaccinated. So they're still waiting for the vaccine.
Oh,
Yeah. So there are
so yeah.
countries like that, like even India, right? You're hearing the news, every all the recent updates you're hearing, and actually, I have a quick question for you. So can I share your website with my viewers and listeners in the description
I would
box?
love that. Yeah,
Perfect.
it's zoewellness.com.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I do
Oh,
have
okay.
your website. Yeah, yeah. No, so
Okay.
after we record this show, then I will edit the description, and then yeah, I will definitely I'll make sure to mention your website in the description box. And Zoe, we're almost near the end. I just
Okay.
want to know if you have any tips and advice to the people who are affected from this pandemic, and their emotional, and they're stressed because of financial reasons. So any tips and advice if you can share?
I would just say, I mean, it's affected people in so many different ways. So I would say, number one, being kind to yourself, because we've all been affected in different ways, right?
Yes.
And with that, if you think about it, it's kind of nice because, like, not that we've all been affected, but that there's a togetherness in that. We've all been affected. So you're not alone in that. And sometimes just knowing that can feel good. But also seeking out help. Even if you're not in a position to be able to, hire someone or talk to somebody about what you're struggling with, getting outside as much as you can, eating well,
Mhm.
resting, just taking
Yes.
good care of yourself and showing yourself some compassion that this is something that none of us have ever gone through, right? So,
Yes.
it's natural to have felt these things throughout the time.
Yes, I do agree with you. It's even though the vaccine itself is very expensive, I'm hearing that there's a good news coming from Burlington factory. They're making a medicine for, I think it's the oral vaccine where you put it in your mouth, and then it helps you. It just helps your body purify from the illness itself. That's what I'm
Oh,
hearing, but we'll probably get to know more from the media.
right,
Uh,
right.
but Zoe, thank you so much for
Oh,
sharing your knowledge and insight.
absolutely.
Um,
Thank you so
uh,
much for having me. This was fun.
you're very welcome, ma'am. And I would love to have you on Talking BizTech again. And I
Sounds
would love to collaborate with you down the road. So thank you again, and
great.
you have a wonderful day, Zoe.
You have a wonderful day too. Thank you so much.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Do not forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more podcasts like this. And if you want to purchase the Revelio membership, the link is down in the description box. And if you are affected in this pandemic, and if you want to reach out and speak your mind, then make sure to book an appointment with Zoe. Um, and so Zoe's website is down in the description box. So thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye.